Okay, so pleated skirt is very simple. You have to cut a rectangle of your fabric. The length of your rectangle is basically two lengths, which you have to make every angle 90 degree. This is your length and this is the width. Okay, so you see how long you want your skirt to be from your waist to how low. That length you mark over here, and then you have your width. How do you calculate your width? Okay, this is how you will calculate your width. Whatever is your waist measurement, that measurement divide by the number of pleats you want. So in your case, you want 7 pleats, right? So we divided that, your 32 waist divided by the pleats. So if it makes it easier, do that in centimeter. You don't have to do it in inches, because centimeter is easier to calculate on the calculator. So when we did 32 inches on calculator, it came out to be 84.
Yep. 82. 82, then we got 11.7.
Yeah, 82. Okay. So then 82 divided by 7. Okay. And then we added those, and then your pleat, how much is it turning in, right? See, this is how the pleat is going to be, right? If this is the pleat, half of it goes here and half of it goes here. So you have to decide how much of the inward pleat you want, like how much fabric you want inside. So let's say I want 1 inch here and 1 inch here. So how much does that become total? 1, 1 and 1 plus 1. So total 4. So that is your 4. And if you're having 7 pleats, so 7 multiplied by 4. Okay, so that is the measurement you will have for your width of your skirt. So your waist measurement plus your 7 multiplied by 4, you have to add it in your waist. So you get this whole thing. So once you get this, on this you mark that this is your 4 inches, this is your pleat. This is your 4 inches, this is your pleat. So you have those marking already. And then, okay, pause. So on this, find center of it, fold it inward and inward. Okay, so create this pattern. Okay, do that for all your foldings. Okay, all right. I made the fabric absolute rectangle. Now what does that mean is every angle is 90 degree. So I know my length, which is 20, how much was this? 21 plus 3, 24. So I uniformly marked 24 like this, and then connected them all together so that each angle is 90 degrees. So that's very important, and that's because our skirt is starting from the waist, right? So from waist, when you start the skirt from the waist, you can have a straight band because the body starts curving out below the waist. So at the waist, you can have a straight band, and because you have a straight band, you can afford to have a 90 degree. If it was lower, we would have given a curve, but that's another tutorial for another time. Right. So we have these set, and good part about these is you can use them, reuse them again and again. Once you've had your calculation, you could just keep using them again. Now I'm going to give half of inch seam allowance on the side and on the top, and I'm going to start marking my pleats. Okay, so these are the ones which are going to be, this is your pleat and this is coming in. So we need this point also, the center point, because your pleat from here to here is going to meet at the center. Okay? All right, let's look at this again. So I have my seam allowance here. This is my first point. This point is not important. This is important. This is important. And this is, if you see, I'm doing it, I'm marking flat lines here and I'm marking a dot. This is how these two will be mashed together, and then it will be flattened. Okay, so that would give you this pleat effect here. All right, so let's copy all of them, trace out all of these. You can put pins also, so let's just put pins so that the markings. So see how I have marked the marking. This is where my pleat starts. This is the center of the pleat. Pleat starts, center of the pleat, pleat stop. So basically these markings I have, transferred from the pattern. Now this is how they will look like. Let me do one and show you. Oops. So if this is my pleat, I'll take a pinch from this center, from the dot. I'll hold it together. It will help if we give a little cut on these marks.
Oh.
So this line, just give a little slight notch here.
Right at the seam allowance, right?
So take a pinch from here, join these cuts together, right? Put a pin across like this, okay? Now you got this point. This will be, this dot, match it up with the center, like this, okay? And you give another pin over here and a pin over here. Right? And then this is how it looks like from outside. Your pleat is created. When you have your band, you will just sew the band over this. But let's say if it's not just a pleat, it's a tuck dart kind of a thing. That means some of it is sewn. So what you will do is, you will take this together, just sew it maybe 1.5 or 2 inches. Sew it up first, then you flatten it. Okay, so let's say I sewed it. Okay, and then I flatten it. So from outside, it's going to give a different look. This is how my pleat will look like. And this will fall like this. So if you want to do it this way, you can do this also. This is much more organized rather than having pleat from the... So what happens, very common mistake is that when you do the pleat and you don't have this tucked in this way, the pleat often turns, you know, inward, or it's not very stable unless you give a stay stitch here first, and that would affect the fall. You would see that the pleat is not falling straight to the ground, parallel to the ground. So that is important. So let's do that for all of them, and then we see how the pleat looks. Sewing them together. Okay, so we marked 2.5 length for sewing. Start. Oops, I had it on zigzag. Sorry. Okay. Stop exactly at the 2.5. You want all the stitches to be consistent. Right? Stitch. Ideally, you should remove your pins when you sew. Okay, sew exactly to the point and then lock it and then cut the thread. Okay, same thing we will do on all the pieces. So we've sewn all these pleats now, right? Now I'm going to just flatten. So you remember this dot that we had? I'm going to align it to the center here and then put pins on it. Similarly here, take the center of this, flatten it up and put pins on it. And then you can give it a nice press. Right? So they're stable. And when you're doing the belt, you have these problems. See, my all pins are so inconsistent. All type of shapes and sizes you'll find them.
Makes sewing more interesting.
Okay, let's give it a nice press and then see how they fall. Pull your fabric first, and test the fabric.
Why do we need to do that?
When you're cooking, right? if your pan is too hot and you put your food on it, cold food on it, or maybe chicken or egg or whatever you're putting, it'll stick. Right?
Yep.
Same logic with the iron, right? So if it is too hot and you suddenly start pressing with this, your fabric will stick to it. No matter what setting you've done, what kind of fabric, it will still stick. So cool it up first. When you put the steam, it cools it down. Okay? And then test your fabric first. Okay? See if it's okay. And I am using very high heat. It still doesn't burn because I'm cooling it down. If I don't cool it down, definitely it will stick.
And what if it's not a steamer yet? How do we cool it off?
Then you put water on your fabric.
On the fabric?
Yeah.
Okay.
Or then you keep your heat very less.
Okay.
Right? Now, this is not really ideal for ironing with
Pin.
hot, because this will melt. But there are glass needles, glass top needle, that will not. So you be careful when you do this. Right? So what I'm doing is I'm only ironing the pleats right now. This one's okay. This doesn't have any top.
Ah, okay.
So I can possibly iron on top of it.
Oh, okay.
Right? So this is it. Okay. Now I just want to show you later we can iron it properly. This is how your pleats will look like. This is a sticker, but you see how beautiful the pleats fall. Right? So we can do that later. Okay, this is how the pleat will fall. You pick it from the here. So this will make my waist look good. Alright, so we know now how to create pleats.